needless to say, Nikki and I, if you were to ask me, do you think things would have worked out if we didn't break up, and do you think we'd still be together to this day? Probably not. No. It's like fighting the inevitable. And me and her, we may have been two peas in a pod, and, we had a lot of things in common, and then we had our differences. But we didn't actually figure out the differences until after Job Corps, believe it or not. When we actually lived together for a little bit, yes, we did. After Job Corps, there was a part where I stayed with her and her family a little bit, and we fought like crazy. We did. We were going at it like a married couple. Except minus the, other things married couples can get into, but we didn't. It was funny. And eventually it just deteriorated. The relationship was done, and I moved on. She had moved on. When I say moved on, I mean I moved out, got away from her. We didn't talk for months. And when we did, it was just like you could tell when she was talking to me, and it sounded like a threat the way she said it. I knew deep down it wasn't a threat as per se as much as it was she was upset that I allowed things to happen the way they did, and it could have been better if I would have done things different. Again, shit happens. That's all I can say about it. Gotta move on. And a friend is worth sticking around and keeping if they can move on from what happened and still be your friend and look back at it and laugh, and not look back at it and say, well, you screwed up, buddy, so stop crying about it. Well, actually, no, that's okay. Being blunt is okay. There's a lot of that too.